letter to myself for next year, starting December 4th, 2023, who I am right now and who I want to be in the future. The video starts now. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is a little bit different than what I usually do. It's a little away from the vlogs and more of a sit down talking video, but I came up with this idea today and I feel like this would be a fun tradition to carry on throughout the years. So this is a diary for my future self in a year. I wrote an outline of how I want this to go, and I'm sure over the years it's going to get better and more professional, but instead of needing everything to be perfect, I'm just going to start right now because that's what these videos are for. Progress. My name is Rhegan. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas for 18 years of my life, and now I've been living in LA for 3 years. I'm thinking about moving back to Texas. It's been heavy on my mind just to be closer to my family, to try out a new environment. Maybe next year I will not be living in LA. It'd be nice to get a little break and to get away. It's time for a new chapter, and I want to focus more on long term, and I feel like LA won't give me that connectedness because I feel so unconnected from everything while being here. So we'll see how that goes. My favorite food right now is pasta. Sometimes it's mashed potatoes, like a loaded mashed potato with bacon and cheese and chives and sour cream and butter. My favorite color is red. It was pink for a really long time. For most of my life it was pink, but there's also not a color that I don't like. I don't have any pets currently, but I just have a feeling that I'll probably get like a cat or something in a year. It would make sense because I've thought about it. Oh, y'all know what I always wanted too? A bearded dragon. I don't know if I would ever get a bearded dragon, but I've always wanted one. I'm just gonna put it out there because in case I do, I can say that I guess. If my future self has a boyfriend, I would guess that they would be someone that is respectful, family oriented, likes to do outdoorsy things, someone who's athletic, competitive and confident but not cocky. I love me a humble guy. I always have, so I know that that will be my future partner. If I don't have a boyfriend and I'm single, I'm sure that I'm very happily single. I've been happily single for a while now. Like I'm living this life thing. I'm not messing around with anyone, and I'm not wasting my time on situationships and talking stages and all of that. I'm just doing me and focusing on my goals and bettering myself. So if I am in a relationship, that means I was brought even more peace and not the opposite, because I wouldn't right now, so I know future me wouldn't accept any less than the best. If I'm with someone, you're a lucky guy, because I'm basically calling you the best right now. But I also know that if I'm not in a relationship, I'm definitely living my life, doing my thing. When the time's right, the time's right, but there's no searching for love. That stuff just finds you. My favorite animal is a lion because I'm a Leo. If I have more to say in a year, I have more to say in a year, but right now I'm pretty content with those answers. This year I turned 21, which was huge for me. It's been both good and bad. One of the other things that I did this year was the 75 hard challenge. You follow 5 rules every single day for 75 days, which is 2.5 months. It was life-changing, so much that I really want to do it again next year. So future me, I hope you've already done it by now, because in my heart and soul I know I want to do it again. It was the best feeling ever. I learned so much about myself. I poured so much time into myself. That was the start of like my self-love journey, my self-growth journey. I really realized what it meant to be disciplined over being motivated, and how motivation is only going to get your foot out of the door, but self-discipline is going to take you to your destination. When I had that realization, I realized that everything is literally possible. Like anything is possible if you set your mind to it and you discipline yourself for it. I turned 21 within 30 days of finishing the 75 hard challenge, and I didn't go crazy with the alcohol. Like I just turned 21, I have to show myself some grace, but I went crazy with alcohol, and I was drinking a lot, I was partying a lot. I also had never really gone out beforehand. Even whenever I was in high school, I would go out sometimes, but I got burnt out really fast. I've always enjoyed my own company and alone time and staying in, and I still do. It was the fact that I legally could. It was the fun little satisfaction of showing my ID, not having to worry about a single thing. It's a real ID, I'm 21, and I can just get in places. That's what it was for me. It was like, I'm 21, I can do this stuff now. Now I've slowed down quite a bit. It's December, and I'm leaning more back into getting in a routine and really being on top of everything. So I had a good 3-month break, or a month break. I was still doing my shit, but I know me and I know whenever I can do better, and I just wasn't doing better. So moving forward, I would like to have done better. This year, I fell out of love with my first love, and for the first time. I was in a relationship for 2.5 years. That wasn't really a relationship. It was like very on and off and toxic, and we just wanted different things. For the first 5 months of 2023, I was going through it. I was feeling the breakup. I went from being very dependent on someone to having to be fully independent and to discipline myself and control myself to not go back to that person in a way, or to lean into something that is familiar familiar and comfortable, although I knew it wasn't what I wanted for myself in the future, and vice versa, honestly. And I'm a big believer that sometimes people are just not meant to be in your life. They are lessons. I started off the year very resentful towards that person, and I'm ending the year forgiving. We are all humans trying to do this life thing, and who would I be to direct hate onto someone that I have loved in my lifetime? Once you love someone, I don't feel like you can truly hate them. There's things that I could have worked on. They weren't like to the same extent, but there were things that I could have worked on. It was a different version of myself that I no longer resonate with, and so with leaving that behind, I have to leave that person behind if I want to move forward. And with some people, they can just be triggers, even accidentally. There's just some people in our lives that we can't see every day, that we can't rebuild a connection or bond with, because you are only a certain version of yourself with that person, and you can never portray like the new version of you. You were with them when you were a different version of yourself. It's just one of those situations. I genuinely wish that person best, and I hope that that person finds everything that they need in this lifetime and more. You live and you learn. It just is what it is. Control what you can control, what you can't control. Put up with it. Find a way to cope with it. Find a way to make it more bearable. My way of doing that is not pretending that I hate someone when I don't hate someone. I am full of love, and I am a loving person. And I used to not be a forgiving person, but this year I learned what forgiveness means. I not only forgive that person, but I also forgive the version of myself that I was when I was with that person, and for being confident enough to get in a relationship with someone after never being in a relationship and letting myself be vulnerable with someone. I've learned some great lessons, great overall things about what I want, what I don't want, who I want to be, who I don't want to be. So I'm ending this year with contentment. I quit vaping nicotine after 7 years of vaping nicotine. I stopped counting because the more that I count and track it makes it feel like there's like a timer at the end of that that's gonna go off. But instead, if I just go through the motions and I don't count it, it just piles up, and before I know it, it's a few years and I've quit. But it's been a few months. It's been like 4 or 5 months. Something I never thought that I could do. So definitely proud of myself. One of the hardest things I've done. This year, I started dabbling in learning how to cook. I am no chef by any means. I still only off the top of my head know how to cook like 2 or 3 dishes, but I at least am at the point where most of the time, if I can look at a recipe and read it and have it there, I can cook it. I'm a work in progress right now with the cooking. And this year, I've also read probably about 15 books. I'm sure more than 15 books. I'm downsizing that one a little bit because I don't know exactly how much, and a lot of them were self-help books. I did read a few fiction, but most of it was self-help book, and my book of the year is Atomic Habits. So good, helped me form better habits and take steps to achieve that, and realize that it's not an overnight thing, that habits are built up through the little actions that you make now. They all become one and it becomes a habit, and from there on, that's where you get routines, and the importance of all of that together to achieve your goals and to be disciplined and smart with your time. My goals for next year: I want to move to Texas in a 2-bed apartment. The reason for the 2-bed is I want to have a podcast studio, and I also want to start streaming on Twitch, so I'm thinking that I would do that with the 2nd bedroom. I would love to get a new car because I got in a wreck and my car is totaled. Part of me feels like I would save up for a nicer car, but at the end of the day, a car's a car. All that matters is getting from A to B. But it would be nice to treat myself with a nicer car, especially for content purposes. But in my head, everything's content. In a year, I would love to be in a balanced routine, to have some more shit figured out. Overall, just to be in a little bit of a better spot. Not that I'm in a bad spot, but I know I can do better. I'm the only thing that's been in my way, so I hope that I break that barrier in my mind and really push through to get to that next level that I want to be at. I want to do the 75 hard challenge again, preferably towards the beginning of the year, like around the time that I move, because my lease ends in March. But I feel like that would be awesome for me, and again, great content. I would love to be eating a lot more home-cooked meals over fast food, like 3 to 5 a week home-cooked meals, but also that means I need to be in the kitchen and start chefing it up. I would love to consider taking like culinary classes. That would be something I'd be into. So I have all these little things that I want to do that just like float around my mind that I never do. But next year I want to start saying yes more, which I got that from my friend Simine. That's one of her New Year's resolutions. She said that she really wants to start saying yes more, and I agree. I want to start saying yes more. I say no to a lot of things, genuinely, even to myself. Next year is about saying yes and to being open to trying more things and saying yes to more opportunities. I can't know myself out of my dream life. This one's funny. I'd love to be a YouTuber. Not that I'm not already a YouTuber. I still consider myself a YouTuber, but I want it to grow exponentially and I'm willing to put the work in, and I edit all my videos and I'm doing vlogmas right now. Right now my bigger platform is TikTok, which I love as well. I love everyone on TikTok. I love it all. I just love creating content in general, genuinely. But I would love to have even more of a community on here to the extent that I have on TikTok, because we are very connected and it's very real. Like, it's just me and my life. I get to relate to people and talk to people every day and interact, and it'd be cool to see that on my YouTube as well. And it is already there, but I'd love to spend more time on that craft. I've made YouTube videos since I was a little kid. That's like my big picture right now, is YouTube. In a year, I would love to have start my own podcast and to have it pretty established. I think having the 2-bedroom apartment and using that second bedroom for a podcast studio would be a good idea. I want it to look cute and aesthetic and chill, laid back, comfy vibe, but still have a touch of niceness in terms of quality. I feel like that can be important sometimes, and quality is overall just important to me. Otherwise, I'd start a podcast already be going. But I need to put more time into it and to start it because my lease is ending soon, and I'd love to start on that in the beginning of the year. With that, I'd like to start streaming on Twitch. I have 4 brothers, all of them are gamers. I'd probably pay my older brother to, he would do it unpaid, but like if I'm having someone build something for me, I'm gonna pay them. It'd be cool to have him build a PC setup in my future apartment in Texas. I've done most of my moving alone. My dad helped me move to LA when I initially moved, but once I was in LA, I've moved around 3 times now, so I've been at 3 different places and I've done it mostly by myself. I have had help with people, but in terms of like packing everything up and decorating and all that, I think it's gonna be awesome being able to experience me moving to Texas and having my family help out with ideas and things that can make it more personal and home-like. I'm really excited about that. And so the whole my brother building my PC thing, I think more than anything would just be a way for us to be able to connect on something that is long-term and the start of something else. I value family a lot, and I always have. I really want to dabble a lot more into fashion and have more of a personal style. I have a great idea of how I want my style to be, but I just haven't gotten clothes that portray my dream style. Such a big way as to how I express myself is through my clothes and how I wear them and put pieces together, and I haven't touched back into that in a really long time. Like 2 years ago, I was really into it and it felt awesome and I felt so empowered by it. So that's another goal, even though it's like a little random one. And lastly, next year I want to go on a vacation. I want to go on multiple vacations. I haven't been on vacation in maybe 4 years since before the pandemic. So yeah, around 4 years. COVID and stuff actually happened whenever I was on my last vacation in Costa Rica with my mom's side of the family because my parents are divorced. That happened while I was on vacation, so we got back and like toilet paper was gone, paper towels are gone, like all the basic necessities were at a shortage because everyone was freaking out because we didn't know what COVID was and what it was going to turn into, and the pandemic ended up being a few years. COVID's still around, but lockdown overall lasted a lot longer than all of us had thought. It was a huge moment in my life. Luckily for me, it turned out really good, and that's whenever my first videos went viral, and then I started doing social media, and now we've built this community and I have a family online and people to experience life with that I appreciate so much. I haven't been on vacation, and with social media growing and my content getting a lot more personal, it'd be fun to start doing traveling vlogs because I haven't been on a vacation and I have so many ideas. I've wanted to for so long. I've had plans to do it and I just haven't gone through with it. So vacation here soon, but definitely next year and hopefully multiple. Some words for my future self. Watch, in a year I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be all like aesthetic and cool. Like, why am I gonna cry? Here I go. I hope that you are genuinely so happy from the bottom of your heart. We both know 2023 wasn't the easiest, even though I pushed through with a smile on my face. There were definitely a lot of moments that it felt like that was impossible. I have been very hard on myself this year to be as self-aware as possible, and I overall went through a lot of changes. I hope that I'm a lot more in tune with who I am and what I embody, and I hope that I have more friends. I've closed myself off a lot this year. This has definitely been one of my most independent, if not, actually not even if not, it's been the most independent year that I've had. I have really enjoyed my company and I have shut a lot of people out, not selfishly, but because it was all that I knew in the moments that I did. A lot's happened while I've lived in LA, lots happened while I've lived alone. I'm doing the best that I can, and that's all I can do in each moment. Sometimes it's not the best thing, sometimes it is, but because I'm human, not everything's gonna be perfect, and I choose to show myself grace. But I will say, Reagan, I hope that you have a close knit of people that genuinely care about you, and the right people will come at the right time. I needed to put my head down and work on me because I've spent so many years being dependent on other people and choosing to love other people so that I didn't have to put in the work to love myself. I was self-sabotaging by denying myself the love that I gave to others. This year, I said no more. I loved me. I love me. Next year, I'd love to expand that love over to more people because we are all deserving of it. Again, we are all trying to do this life thing and find our purposes in life, and it's hard to do that alone. Trust, I know. So we're expanding the circle next year. I hope that within the year, I have taken the time to really allow myself to live life and to not always be so worried about everything and outcomes of things and what could be or what's going to be, and just focus on the now. I'm just now starting to get the hang of that, so I'm sure future me will have that on lockdown. It's all going to be a journey and it's going to be worth it, and I'm probably going to do a side-by-side video for the future video. I hope side-by-side me 2024 Reagan is smiling or crying or cheersing, because I know that I'm a very determined person and I'm gonna put my head down and I'm going to do all these things that I'm talking about. But because I get so lost in the moment sometimes, I forget to like give myself a little bit of a pat on the back. So I'm sure that I'm gonna forget that I filmed this video. I'm sure that I'm going to forget that I said that I wanted to start 75 hard again and that I want to move to Texas and get a new car. So future Reagan, you can take the reign. I don't know what else to say. I just know I'm gonna be so put together and have this whole, take the mic, we got this, future Reagan.